Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again thank you for stopping by. So this is a follow-up video from the first run of the new Tamiya TD4 Super Avante. I'll put a link in this video description to the running video of this. Apologies for the terrible audio, I had some really bad interference while I was running it through the microphone, so apologies for that. If you turn the sound down a little bit, it's watchable. So yeah, we put a full battery through it and it was awesome, absolutely love it. So I did run it with an 11-turn Tamiya Super modified 11-turn brush motor, and it ran well. The gearing was quite low, it had standard gearing on. Now if you watched the build video of this, I actually fitted a slipper clutch, a hop-up slipper clutch to it, but then I didn't have a 48 DP pinion because the spur pitch changes when you go from standard gearing to the slipper, so be mindful of that. So the pinion, I've shout out to Berry, I've now got a 21-2 48 DP or 48 pitch racing pinion for it, so that means I can now fit the slipper clutch back in, which I dismantled, but yeah, we'll get that back in the car. While we're in there, the TD4 differential nut and screw set hop-ups have arrived, so that's for the diff. So that's basically the kit diffs come with a plastic locking nut. Well, it's not a locking nut, it's just a nut. And it appears to be a little bit weak if you put a bit more power through it than, say, a 540, I don't know. So this is a good hop-up, so we're going to fit those front and back. Obviously we'll better nip those up nice and tight when the slipper clutch is in and the slipper clutch can do the work. And while we're in there, the rear set of universal drive shafts have turned up for it. It's already got the fronts in, which gives you maximum steering. So we've got quite a lot to get through for me to work on this car. We've got to open it all back up, get the diffs out and all that. But once we put it all back together, the car's going to be pretty golden and ready for its next run. Now, I'm also, in this video, I'll do it off camera, but I'm also going to take the electrics out of it. As I say, 11-turn Super Modified, Tech and Speedo. So once, I'm in there, I'm just going to take that out because I'm going to order a new brushless combo, something a bit more modern and a bit smaller Speedo-wise, because I thought this car ran great. This gearing will give it a little bit more on the top end, but because it was a brush motor, it was a little bit laggy. Didn't have that punch off the start that a brushless gives you. So yeah, I'll get it ready for that. I haven't even ordered that yet, but we will do in the future. Now, just a quick thing. Gear ratios are quite important on this car. So this car comes as standard with a 70-tooth spur, and in the kit you get a 17-tooth pinion. If you need to work out gear ratios, it's your spur gear divided by your pinion multiplied by 2.6 equals, and that's your ratio. I think this one, I'm saying this off the top of my head, I think this is 70 divided by 17 multiplied by 2.6 gives you, I think it's 10.70 kit gear ratio, which is quite low. When I fit the slipper clutch, which is a 79 tooth spur gear and a 21 tooth pinion, so that gives us 79 divided by 21 multiplied by 2.4 brings it out at about 9.7 gear ratio. So we're going to have a little bit more top end, and I don't think we'll lose anything off of the acceleration of the car. And once the slipper's in, you can go all the way through to a 30-tooth pinion with that 79 spur. So you've got a lot of scope, but obviously I wanted to be careful because I was using a brush motor, but when we got a brushless, we don't have to worry about that nearly as much, the other gearing I'm talking about. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, so let's get cracking. Right, so that's what the rear gearbox looks like. I quite like how you can get in and out of this car. To the bits. There's quite a few screws, but it's all relatively straightforward. I quite like it. So obviously this is the kit, spur gear. So I've got to use a couple of bits of that to build the actual slipper clutch up. I can't remember. I think there's some spacers on there. So let's get the new slipper clutch built up. And that's the slipper built up and in place. And you get a metal gear with the slipper, which is obviously definitely better. So I've just re-greased. Obviously I don't really pay too much attention to setting the actual tension of a slipper up until we run it. Part number for the slipper is that, should you be interested. But please bear in mind that this is a 48 DP pitch. You will need a 48 pinion to match. The kit one will not pitch up with this. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put all the top back on, and then we've got the underneath to take off to get to the diff, and we'll take the motor out at that stage as well. Right, that's the rear gearbox cover on. Just while I'm here, I'm just going to pop the turnbuckle off and build the rear universal shafts. That's the part number you need. Front and backs are identical, so there's not a rear set or a front set. Right, let's build those. And that's one built up, so it comprises of 5 parts, and that's what it looks like when it's finished and greased up. I think these are a must, to be honest. Not so much for the rear, but absolutely must for the fronts, especially on this car. Right, I'll get the other one built up and then we'll get them fitted. Right, so that's the back end stripped, which is just this cover that comes off here, which obviously allows you into the rear ball diff. Very straightforward. There is a little bit of dirt in there, you know, unless that's just sort of happened while I've been dismantling it, I'm not sure. At this stage we'll also take the motor out just because it's easy to do. But yes, there's at one of these ends is a plastic nut, so we're going to replace that. So as far as I can tell, all the rest of this setup is exactly the same to the kit, so I'm just going to put the alloy nut on the end. That's the part number, should you be interested, and obviously you need 2 of those. So yeah, we'll put it on, we'll tighten them up or whatever they need, and then we'll put it all back together. Okay, that was interesting. So that's the plastic nut that you get in the kit, and obviously now we've got the alloy one in. Now what's interesting is that was really easy to tighten up, and to be honest, it just goes tight. There's no other settings for it. Diff feels great still, but that's kind of as tight as you'll get it. So what that's doing is, to me, that's completely eradicating the limited slip of the diff itself. So obviously if you're using a slipper clutch, that's an absolute ideal setup. So I was really surprised at that, to be honest. I thought there'd be a little bit more of an adjustment with it, but yeah, I was just sort of winding it up, and then it didn't even stiffen up, it just stops, and you're like, oh. And then I put the 2 Allen keys in just to see if I could move it with the diff itself with limited slip, and there's nothing. So yeah, that's interesting. I like that because that's going to make the slipper clutch earn its money. Right, what we'll do now is, because that's done, we'll put all this back end back together, and then we'll do the same on the front diff. Right, so that is that done. So rear universals fitted, slipper clutch fitted, and front and back diff lock nuts are fitted. Now you might be seeing now all the electrics are out of it, so I'm going to tell you why now, because I've just had a bit of an idea actually for a future video. Anyway, before I tell you what that is, I'll just build the car back up, get the wheels and tyres back on it. So we've got it back in shelf mode with all the bits on. So yeah, that was a good couple of hours work, and now it's ready to get the new brushless combo. Again, haven't ordered it yet. I don't even know what I'm going to order, but I'll order something pretty tasty for it, which I can use in other cars as well. But yeah, hop-ups wise, that's as far as I'm going to go. Actually saying that, I really need the steering servo alloy mounts. That's probably the only other thing I'll get for it. In fact, I need to order those today. But yeah, the reason why I've taken the electrics out of it was just something just dawned on me. I'm going to be building my DB02 Leonis very soon. That's going to be a crazy build. That's going to be off the charts, hop-ups galore. But that was kind of Tamiya's flagship, as it were. Well, no, I was going to say flagship shaft-driven off-road car, but the TRF 502X would be that. But the DB02 was basically the poor man's version of the 502. I hate using that terminology, but it kind of is. So yeah, I was thinking, well, you've just driven this and you know how good this was. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the same electric straight into the DB02 while I'm building it, and then we'll whiz it straight out for a run, and that'll be a decent comparison. So that's something quite exciting for me. I'm really looking forward to that, hence why I've done that. Anyway, this was only supposed to be a short video and it's probably not. So what do we say now? Thanks so much for watching, it's massively appreciated. If you are new to this channel and this is the first time you've stumbled across one of my videos, if you could give this video a thumbs up, go subscribe and hit that notification bell, that'd be absolutely awesome. And as always, my friends, I nearly dropped it. Happy arsing.